Everybody's got your mics muted.
Looks like you're smoking a cigar.
I'm lighting one right now as we speak. It happens. This is my cigar day now. I don't really smoke that many cigars, but I've found that this is a good excuse to smoke a cigar now.
Awesome.
So,
Hey, everybody.
Pearson, look. Where the hell is it? Somewhere on here, there's a logo.
Nicely done.
Yeah. Got to
How was
represent.
everybody this week?
I don't know. Haven't decided.
At least
Only
it's
the
not
middle.
raining where you are.
Is it raining down by you?
Actually, at this very moment, no, but it just stopped literally moments ago. Just a little sprinkle, no biggie.
I mean, it's been friggin' outrageously beautiful here today, so
Gorgeous.
no complaints.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. In fact, it was a topless day in the Mustang.
Jesus Christ, you're scaring me with those words, Marcia.
You've seen my car, Marcel.
Yeah, but I haven't seen your boobs, so we got to be careful with these topless days.
Well,
Oh shit! I just spilled my wine. I kicked it over. What an idiot!
Well, if I'm in the Mustang.
You got me all excited.
God punishing you.
God is punishing.
I love it.
I'll be back. Talk amongst yourselves.
I'm so happy to know I've still got my charms.
Just like that, we lost our host.
I'm still here. I'm just looking for frickin' paper towels and stuff so I can wipe up my wine that I just spilled.
And the rest of the bottle.
Marcel. Didn't mean to get you all rattled there, buddy.
That's all right. It's all good.
Let me give you guys a preview of what you're about to see in about 2 minutes.
What is that? I can't even imagine what that was, but fortunately I'm outside of camera, so I'm good. Wait. Oh shit, it's freaking running everywhere. That was a big glass of wine too. Damn it.
Bummer.
What a waste.
It wasn't a real expensive one.
Yeah.
It's alcohol
abuse. Yeah, there you go.
Nils, haven't seen you in ages. Nice to see you, Nils.
He's busy.
Hello. How are you, Marcia?
I'm hanging in, buddy.
Nils is busy pimping drones. The drone pimp.
I know, like week after week after week, like there's been a conflict. So I haven't been here in force in a long time. But anyway, lovely to see you all.
The new flying pigs.
or so we call them the flying piglets since they're little.
A whole swarm.
Yeah. A lot of pigs. Oh God. Why did I have to spill a freaking whole big fat glass of wine?
You're a mess, Marcel. Get it together, man.
I get it. I'm with you.
Didn't realize it was going to rattle you that much, buddy.
Yeah.
It's only talking about my car.
Wow. Got me going there for a minute.
All in good fun, my friend. All in good fun.
Between that and trying to show Patrick his shirt, and I got all messed up and spilled my wine like an idiot. Fortunately, there's more.
Yay!
There is no shortage of wine. All right. Where were we? That was a bunch of bullshit. Aha.
Jeez.
That was very exciting.
We're good.
Are we good?
What's going?
Do we say cheers, Marcel?
Yeah, you guys can.
Are you not ready?
I was obviously drunk before this all started. We've had a bit of a rough day over here at Gear Source today because well, this morning our illustrious head of web development, Freddie Laker, decides to really impress us with some massive updates to the platform that they've been working on for like 3 or 4 weeks. And I I mean, none of them worked. Everything just went nuts, and it's just been an insane day. Everything that worked this morning doesn't work now, and we're actually in the process right now of reverting back to yesterday's version so that they can figure out how they nuked the site today. So
Yeah.
it's been a
A
fun
shit
and
show.
miserable day.
A
I
bit
mean,
of a
first
shit
when
show.
they, we were all bragging about these orders that came in overnight. We were like, wow, we sold a truck last night, and we sold this last night, and we had all these cool orders that came in overnight, and then they were all gone all of a sudden. It's like, what just happened? So it's a bad day.
Mhm.
It was a costly day too, an expensive day. Yeah.
So hang on, the orders were real, and then the computer blew up, or the orders
Yeah.
were fake because
No,
the
the
computer
orders
was
were real.
No,
bullshit.
the orders
no.
are real. They're real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The orders are real, and then everything they did just blew up everything.
All right, well,
we
that's a
had.
way better problem to have.
Yeah,
Trying to
that's true.
That's like a way better problem to have than the alternative.
But yeah, if you
I
can
don't know.
salvage the orders, sure.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the orders were probably cheap compared to the fix.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sounds very much like my hedge fund manager.
That's pretty funny. It's a good one. Every once in a while, you pull out a good one. I like
I
that.
have my moments.
You got your moments. It's good to keep you around for that one moment.
Has anybody gotten their doses of vaccine and had any adverse effects? Just curious.
I got a Moderna.
I've had dose number 1, and other than the fact that I couldn't do a tricep workout for 2 days, I was good.
Sorry.
I get dose number 2 next week.
Aren't you like 45 or something, Ben?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
I know.
And your point.
weren't you in Florida, Ben?
And Matt, you got one as well?
No, I'm actually looking because now you can just go to vaccine sites and like there's this app called TurboVax that he tweets, and there are a ton of open slots. So I'm gonna.
Okay, but that's not the thing.
But
Nils,
yeah,
you
yeah.
had
No.
you got one?
Patrick, I've gotten both vaccines, and I had very mild side effects. I wouldn't call them adverse or debilitating. The worst was that I kind of lost a day in being lethargic, and I had a very sore left arm. And when I went to put my arm over my head, that really hurt. And of course, when you touched it,
And
I agree
that's
with
always
Ben.
been typical with flu shots, though. I mean, I remember even.
I've
as
never
an
had a flu
adult.
shot.
I know.
I wouldn't know, but I'd go with Ben. No tricep workouts for the next day or two.
I know 3 people that have had adverse reactions, and they were not from Pfizer, from Moderna, and from J&J.
I was
So
Pfizer.
the Moderna one was.
I was Pfizer.
Yeah. The Moderna one, my friend said that she might have had COVID back in March of last year. And they said that with Moderna, if you had COVID, you're going to have a really bad reaction. Like she was out for 2 days. Like
Really?
it felt like somebody took a baseball bat to her arm, lethargic, like whatever. And then our friend Miles Mangino, he was able to get the J&J at Javits, and he said during the day was fine, and halfway through, he got it at like 11 p.m. on Monday, and woke up Tuesday, was fine. And then Tuesday afternoon, he was like laid out and went to bed at like 6 and slept all night. And then the next day was fine. But he said he felt like he was getting pain in his other arm. So I don't know what that means.
I'm raising my hand. Cosmo got it.
Yeah, I got it yesterday.
How do you
I,
feel
um,
today?
What?
How do you feel today?
Well, I got it yesterday about noon. My arm is sore. Typical, like that kind of a shot. I was fine all day today. I'm a little tired now, but not like it's not like I can go to sleep. I'm just kind of lazy. But then again, I've got my colonoscopy tomorrow as well, and all I've eaten is stupid soup, broth, and
But clear
Green Jell-O.
broth, man. Oh,
yeah,
horrible.
pineapple jello.
That'll take your mind off it.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
You're
So, and
getting
it's funny.
all-
Hang on,
funny 'cause
hang on. Is this like, are we going back down the geriatric road here?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey.
We're
They said
discussing
that
ailments.
I had COVID before as well, back in October, November, and I had a doctor friend of mine in Minneapolis said you might have a reaction because you had COVID, but nothing so far. So
And did you say you got Pfizer, Cosmo?
I got Pfizer, yeah.
And Nils, you had it as well, you said?
Yeah, I got mine a week ago, and I got Moderna and a little bit of arm pain for a day and a half. And the day after, kind of like towards the end of the day, I felt a bit more tired than usual, but that was about it.
All right. So the reason I asked is
Okay.
that I had a family member that got it, and in between the time of her 2 shots, almost all of her hair has fallen out.
Yeah.
What?
Holy
God.
shit.
And
That's horrible.
she
That's
was
kind of major.
quite freaked out
Yeah.
to the point where she can't even, get it attached anything in there.
I've
Well,
never heard
hair
that
loss
as a
is
side
hair
effect.
loss is hereditary in your family, apparently, Patrick. So
Ooh.
perhaps there's underlying causes.
Ironically enough, it's a completely false statement. Everybody else has a full fucking head of hair. So
Patrick, you know my wife's history with chemo and all that shit.
yeah.
And like she I don't know if this person had anything like that, but my wife has to undergo like some special testing to figure out if she can get the virus or not. So if there might be something in their history, like even if they didn't have a reaction to it, that could be affecting it. I mean, in my expert medical opinion.
Their initial assessment of this is that they suspect that there was an existing alopecia issue that was sort of underlying, and that this has exacerbated it, accelerated. This is their initial thing. They're going to do some tests and see what the real deal is.
Yeah, I mean, I heard somebody say today, I think it was on a podcast that, and maybe you guys have all heard this saying before or whatever, but he said with this vaccine thing, we're basically building the engine on a jumbo jet while it's in the air, and so shit's gonna happen because they haven't had proper time to test it and to do all the things that you would normally do. So,
and that RNA DNA shit is real. I mean, it does this is changing you. Like, maybe not in a bad way, maybe in a bad way. And so if you have certain predispositions or something, like they don't know what it's doing to you.
Well, I've noticed you're kinder since yesterday, Ben.
Maybe, but
you're nicer.
It'll pass. Don't worry about
That's
that.
the lesson.
You're a kinder, gentler Ben.
Listen, you guys, well, I don't know. Some of you have heard me say this before. It would not shock me if a year from now it turns out this was some big like Chinese plot to get us all to take these shots so they can control the world faster. Wouldn't surprise
5G.
me in the least.
5G.
Not 5G. No,
Somebody's sitting with a little like Nintendo remote somewhere and they're controlling you.
They didn't need the 5G. We're begging them to give us the shots, man.
Yeah. I hope it's not 5G.
In my family members,
finally got a 5G phone.
In my family member's defense, she's getting killer cellular reception now.
Yeah. I have a 5G phone too. I'm just not going to pay the $1,000 a year to get the 5G service.
$1,000 a year
on Verizon, at least. In Verizon, they want $70 a month to turn on the 5G.
Oh, I'm on Ghetto T-Mobile, and it's like friggin', it's included. It's like $40 a month for everything, unlimited. And it includes Canada, which is nice. Completely unlimited in Canada too. So my sister has a American T-Mobile phone that she uses in Canada
all the time. Yeah.
All the time. That's her regular phone.
Yeah.
My AT&T package is good in Canada too.
Is it? Didn't used to be. I used to, every time I went to my house, I got like a $500 AT&T bill.
I have Verizon up in the Catskills, and that's got a national plan that includes Canada, but that's a land phone. That's not a cell.
Yeah. So what about gigs? Anybody hearing anything cool? I'm starting to hear a lot of big shit. I talked to Wiseman just before the call, and he was telling me about a couple of stadium things that they don't go out until the beginning of next year, but they're like 9-month build outs and stuff, like big stadium stuff. One of them's probably Motley Crue, I would guess. But
I've heard from 2 people who had calls with promoters, producers this week that are talking about a September start.
I'm hearing a lot of September stuff, definitely. A lot of August stuff. Go ahead, Ellen. Your mic's not on, Ellen.
Electric Daisy Carnival in Vegas in May sold out 150,000 people.
Wow, I hadn't heard
that's
that.
Yep.
For
At
when?
the Speedway.
What's the date?
21 or 22?
21.
Holy shit,
May?
I hadn't heard that.
Wow.
Did you say May?
At the Speedway.
I went to a race at the Speedway this weekend. The NASCAR races were here, and they were only allowing 12,500 people at the race in an 85,000 seat outdoor
Where is
arena.
Tier
So
If you go on their site, it says May 21 to 23, 2021, Las Vegas Motor Speedway sold out, get on the waiting list. And
That is
Asterisk pending government approval.
well, but the other thing is these EDM festivals have a tendency of hanging on to your money when they cancel. So because Ultra ain't paying anybody back, and so yeah, I mean maybe they're just doing a money grab and they don't necessarily care if it goes off or not. It's going to go off sooner or later, unless it says right there that it's a full refund.
Starting May 1st, Las Vegas is allowing nightlife to resume. So that's a big one. So they may be getting in under that.
Yeah.
Mark, how was the race? I've been trying to goad my friend into buying tickets to Sonoma. Was it worth it? Buying tickets to Sonoma.
Oh,
Was it worth it?
the race in Vegas was the best race I've ever seen there. It was I don't know, the tracks changing and stuff.
Did they turn right instead of left or something? What was so amazing about it?
It was different. Well, 3 and 4 wide racing and stuff like that. Normally Vegas is a one groove track, but it's over the last few years it's widened out so they can actually race there now instead of the guy who gets out in front stays out in front.
Yeah.
So it was pretty good.
No sweet jumps or anything like that.
No, nothing that cool.
Nothing that cool. Yeah, it was I remember the Vegas Speedway, wasn't that where the Vegas Speedway, who the hell has this echo going on? Oh, it's Fedo. Well, you shut it off and the echo went away. You're muted and the echo's gone.
I'm not sure how it could be.
Wasn't it Vegas where you had the fiery wreck and Dan Weldon died? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, IndyCar.
Yeah. He turned into the fence and it turned the fence into a cheese grater on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
that
ugly.
Was nasty. That was such a, and the funny thing was, or not so funny, but my kid was, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old. And we were at a race that day and we were driving back from the race. We got home and we turned the race on to see it because he knew Dan Weldon from karting and stuff. You meet him all the time. And like 5 minutes later is when the crash happened. And my kid's like, whoa, Dad. But one of the things about these racing driver kids, though, none of them are bothered by wrecks. Like, that's the weird thing. They'll sit and watch racing fail videos all day long. It's crazy. And they don't get scared.
Do you think that has something to do with youth?
I think that just is a special breed of person. That's all it is. It's just like, you know, people who do triple backflips on motorcycles probably watch triple backflip fails too.
When you're young, you don't have the same concept of mortality. I mean,
That's what I was
10 foot tall and bulletproof.
Yeah.
Shit that I used to do in my 20s, you know, it was psychotic. I look back on it and I was not supposed to live this long. It was never supposed to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think when you're young, you think you're kind of invincible because I did a boatload of shit that I should not be vertical from either.
Yeah. Well, I remember the first time he flipped his go-kart like multiple times in the air. He landed on his head and he came running to me. He was probably 9 years old or something, 8 years old. I don't remember, probably 9. And he came running to me and said, Dad, they won't let me race because my helmet's all messed up. Get me a new helmet. I'm like, what? He's not like, can I get checked for a concussion or, am I hurt? Do I have all my bits? No, just get me a new helmet. They won't let me go out with this one.
Invulnerable.
Yeah. Silly
I
kids.
watch paper cut fails every day, and I still sit down at my desk in the morning.
Who said that?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was
That
funny.
was funny.
Paper cut fails. Gotta hate those. I hate the ones that go under your fingernail. Those are the worst freaking paper cuts. Those paper cuts suck. Under your fingernails.
Oh boy.
They're almost more painful than a cut with a good old-fashioned kitchen knife.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They're
those
so
suck.
thin.
Those suck. Yeah, so I had Larry Richter on my podcast yesterday, and he talked about he's got a show booked. He's a promoter, and he's got a show booked with Jay Leno, and I forget exactly what the show was, but he's got it booked in one of his venues in California in June. And I guess the way he writes his contracts, he said on my podcast, is that if it goes to anything less than 100% capacity, you get paid whatever that amount is. So if it goes to 25% capacity, you get paid 25%. And I guess artists are bored enough of sitting around that they're doing deals like that right now. So some artists, not like, Aerosmith's not going to do a deal like that, but maybe I don't know, REO Speedwagon or Styx or somebody might.
You're saying the artists themselves are willing to compromise their contract?
Correct.
Fees.
Yeah. Artist, venue, everyone, basically.
And now these are venues that already have production built in. These aren't, cost of bringing in production.
No, they're bringing in production. I don't know exactly how the numbers work on the deal, but you can listen to my podcast, and it's not an advertiser or anything, but you can listen. He talked about it yesterday. I don't remember all the details, but
is that why that link is posted down there 3 times? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Somebody pays for this shit, Just kidding.
Well, hey, dudes, I got to jump. Welcome from Texas. We just had our mask mandate lifted today by the idiot Greg Abbott. But luckily, most of the stores and facilities here they're sticking to their guns, and they're saying you can't come in.
Why is he an idiot, John? Because he's allowing people to make their own decisions?
No, because he's actually provoking the.
No, he's not.
So,
no, he's not. No, he's
okay.
not. I mean, it's no different than Florida, where most. Hang on a second. It's no different. Hang on a second, Chris. It's no different than Florida, where most people still wear masks, and most restaurants and stores and businesses require that you wear masks. It's going to be exactly the same in Texas. It's just that you're allowed to actually open your business and do it wisely with masks and all of those things, right? I mean,
see that.
Florida's been like that for a whole year, or almost a year. And, I mean, it's, I know we obviously have mixed opinions.
It seems we're getting to a positive point in this whole crap, and he's pulling the carpet out because Texas had obviously a pretty shitty time with the polar vortex thing, and he's shifting focus. He's totally shifting focus. I used to kind of like the guy, but I just thought that was a bonehead move.
Yeah, I mean, I guess time will tell whether or not it was.
Yeah.
I personally believe that we are smarter than most of our government officials are. And
agreed.
No,
Agreed.
I'm not going anywhere, David. I'm just saying that I believe that we can make our own decisions. I don't need to be told.
For like a half an hour left.
But it's not an argument. It's not an argument. It's just this is only my feeling on this. I'm not saying everyone else should believe me.
Kind of people
I'm
who
just
are
saying
on,
that's my feeling.
I think the kind of people who are on this discussion group are educated and intelligent. There is a great deal of the population who just isn't.
Oh, that's true. That's certainly true.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I just
according to
spent
that,
4
we
weeks.
should just take our seatbelts off. There should be no seatbelt laws. There should be no helmet laws. There should be no alcohol laws, because kids can decide if they want to drink or not. People can decide if they want to die in cars or not.
That's silly. That's silly.
No, it's not silly. You're silly. Your statement that masks should not be mandated is a silly statement.
I didn't make that
being in the
statement. I didn't make
entertainment
that.
industry.
I didn't make that statement, Chris. I didn't make
But he
that
says
statement.
people,
So relax.
people should be allowed to go out, is what he said. You know,
I'm
and
saying
he's
people should be
businesses
allowed
should
to open
still-
their businesses. Kids should be allowed to go to school. That's all the things.
But that wasn't the discussion. The discussion was he lifted the mask mandate, and you said, "Why is that silly?"
No,
that was
he didn't
the
just.
statement.
I don't
You
recall.
came out
I'll go
flipping
back
it.
and watch the video. I'll go back
But
and
no,
watch the
but he didn't demand that everybody not wear masks. That's
I mean,
the difference.
that's a big
He
difference.
didn't demand that everybody not wear masks. Well, nobody demands that everybody not wear seatbelts, but there is a seatbelt law, right?
It's all about
And why-
timing, guys. I mean,
why is there a
we're lighting
seatbelt?
folks here. It's about timing.
It
And
also,
I think the timing was really shitty.
it also depends where
I
you're
think that
at.
was my point.
I was just in northern Florida and I spent 4 weeks up there, and the amount of people wearing masks versus those not wearing masks. And right in the newspaper, an article came out in the newspaper while I was up in Ocala, saying how high they were up to, like 14 or 18%. And this is just 3 or 4 weeks ago. 14 or 18% of those tested or coming back positive. The positivity rate was so high. Just one day while I was there, 72 people died just there in that town. Okay.
Yeah.
Yet nobody's going around with masks. And in the store, every store has a sign that says, you must wear a mask, you must wear a mask. In our supermarket chain down here called Publix, I walk into it and there's like 10 people walking ahead of me with no mask. The manager's at the door greeting people wearing a mask, saying, welcome to Publix, welcome to Publix. I stopped and I said, why aren't you stopping those people? Your
But
company policy.
Jeff, which
is
city?
wear masks.
Which city is that? Which city is
Ocala.
that you're?
That was
in
Ocala.
Ocala. Yeah. I mean, certainly small town, which Ocala isn't a small town, but rural or whatever you want to call it.
Or rural, yeah.
Florida, Texas, Ohio. I don't care if it's a liberal or a Democrat or a Republican or a conservative or who it is. Small, because I've been to these racetracks in all of these different cities, whether they're liberal states or conservative states, and there's no masks in most of these small towns, and that made me uncomfortable too. And you know, I'm not an anti-masker. I just believe that we're adults and we can make adult decisions for the most part. And yes, there's a lot of freaking stupid people. There are a lot of
the only thing I'm going to say
Stupid people that are not.
No. The only thing I'm going to say. Sorry.
I don't want to try and.
No, the only thing I'm going to say is the mask is not for you; it's for the people around you. That's all.
Right. Like, imagine if somebody didn't wear their seatbelt, but they didn't die, but 5 other people did.
Yeah, but this doesn't really have anything to do with seatbelts because that's a law. This is just a mandate. This isn't a law, right? It's not. No, but I don't understand why that's so funny, because it isn't a law. Masks aren't a law, are they?
I mean, I will say the one thing is the flu is pretty much nothing this year because people were wearing masks.
However, it's really weird, off topic a little bit here. Sorry. You know, I know everybody wants to talk about this, but I know a bunch of people this week who have really kick-ass nasty flus, like one in Vegas, one down here that I just talked to. I mean, like 10-day nasty, brutal flus, which is weird. I mean, is it seasonal?
Yeah, but we just established that you hang out with anti-maskers, so that's not surprising.
Did we really? Did we really?
I think we did.
Yeah, we pretty much did.
Get flu shots?
I defer to Chris McMean. How's that?
Yeah, that's
Oh my
great.
gosh.
That's a win, right?
Yeah.
For who?
Chris, hey, Chris, I don't think you're supposed to be on a video call while you drive your car either.
I'm not driving my car.
Just saying.
It's on auto.
Just saying. Just saying.
I'm
saying.
parked.
She's not performing surgery in court, you know.
True. And I'm not killing anybody by not wearing a mask. So, you know, points for me.
Hey,
John,
quick.
John, I don't completely disagree with you. Like, if people are being reckless, if governors or mayors or people in general are being reckless, they're stupid and they shouldn't be reckless. But at the same time, I'm not real personally, anyways. I don't care what you guys think. You're all my friends, but
No, we all know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my point was he did it to shift focus off all the fallout from what's happening with the bullshit that happened in Texas.
Yeah. I don't know.
And that was it. And then
I'm not in his brain.
No, and you don't want to be. I had one other thing I wanted to say to Chris Asen. How's the frickin' Cobra? I haven't seen shit.
Just got tires about 15 minutes ago.
Okay, well, and you're not.
What kind of tires?
Tearing them up?
Nah, Mickey Thompson Sport STs. They're all-terrain, good traction tires. It's very hard to find the tires for these cars anymore. Not too many manufacturers are making them anymore.
Really?
And
What
then,
is it? What size
Matt
is it?
Gaminsky, I'll be in your hood. Are we hanging out on Sunday with our masks?
Yes, masked and beard.
I should be clear after noon, so I'll give you a shot.
Text me.
All right.
So let me ask you, and this is just a silly, funny question. Let me ask you, if you're out with John Dixon for beers, what is the proper protocol? How do you do it?
John buys.
So
John buys. Yeah.
So I, until I get vaccinated, and maybe even not a little bit further, I do not do indoor dining at all. I will do outdoor and what New York has done is they have these, which they're supposed to not be permanent installs, but they're permanent, like
The gazebos.
Yeah, they're like these.
They kill a lane on 9th Street and they put these little boxes out.
Yeah, they kill all these parking. And actually, somebody last week ran into one and severely injured a bunch of people. So that was the first time that happened.
Yikes.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, but it's, I only do outdoor, and like if it's John and I, we'll sit at a barrel or a table at a brewery and we'll be 6 feet apart. We'll be outside, there'll be airflow. Like, I'm fine with that. I'm not fine with indoor dining. I will not do that right now. But that's just me. You know, I've gotten through a year of COVID without getting it, and I do not plan on getting it before I get vaccinated. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And I also get a COVID test every week and a half, 2 weeks, just to be safe. And you know, I think
I've been indoor dining the whole time. I've been indoor dining the whole time, but being smart, you know, masking where you should, not masking where you shouldn't, and it works just fine that way too.
I mean, I just don't have the balls you do, Ben. I'm just
that notwithstanding,
yeah.
You know, there's plenty of people who are indoor dining and seeing people and doing all kinds of things, and you know, as long as you're smart, it works just great.
Yeah, I agree with
New York is going to 50% capacity in its restaurants on Monday too.
Really?
Yeah.
Indoors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Does anybody know what New York's at now, percentage-wise? Positive percentage-wise?
Oh, I don't know.
It's around 2%, Chris. It's Manhattan.
Wow.
New York State's around 2%. Manhattan's around 2%. What's really interesting is the state number came way, way, way down. The New York City number has barely changed because it was so low to begin with.
Yeah, no, I was paying attention last week, but this week I haven't had a chance.
It was like the Bronx and Staten Island, and they targeted it with mass vaccination sites there, and it's come down. Manhattan's always been around 2%. Queens.
Yeah, I mean, New York City for a while was better than the rest of the state. That's for sure. And it's still much better.
I go to the gym. I ride the subway every day. Like, again, as long as you're smart, you can live your life. You know, you don't need to lock yourself in your house.
I've done Subway. I just won't do indoor dining. That's all. I mean, that's just me. You know.
Yeah, I'd be way more afraid of the subway than a
Yeah,
fucking restaurant. I'm just saying.
I won't do the subway now, but
They clean, like, I've never seen the subway as clean as.
Oh, of course.
It's they disinfect it. I mean, every time.
Talking about the transit system, not the subway
yeah,
sandwich.
not the restaurant.
Right, this transit system.
Transit system, yes.
I was going to start to really.
Yeah, I don't know.
Choice
I
of indoor dining.
don't know if I agree with that, Matt. Like that, it was like that for the first couple weeks, and then they just kept closing it every night. And in my opinion, at least in my experience, I should say, they stopped cleaning it.
But even if they're going to clean it at night, if you're riding in the afternoon, you've had all those people in there all day.
No, they do like midday. They do a disinfect with that aerosol stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, again, I think, in my expert scientific opinion, I have a lot to say today. Sorry, guys. You know, they've pretty much proven that all the surface cleaning is probably mostly bullshit, right? And it's air stuff that matters.
Aerosol, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
Yeah.
just weird to me when I see people on a subway having a full meal, like COVID isn't happening, and they're just like mowing, drinking.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, but that was nasty before COVID, right?
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
See, I just came out of the supermarket. I'm going to spray my hands for no reason. It's just because I've been doing it for a year. It's like, oh, I better spray my hands.
There you go. So
Yeah.
I'm celebrating today. It's been 2 weeks since my second Moderna shot. So I'm free and clear.
Good for you.
Well, I'm 95% clear, I guess I should say.
Me too. 2 weeks since my second shot.
I did get pretty sick on the second shot though. For like 5 hours. I had no
Did you have the Moderna or the Pfizer?
Moderna.
I did too. The day after I got it, I felt sort of achy and fatigued all day, but it was just one day and it wasn't that bad.
Right. It just turned off again 5 hours later, like it never happened.
Has anybody got the Johnson shot on the call?
I got Pfizer. I got my second one a week from tomorrow.
Moderna here. It was good.
Got Moderna, Lynn?
Yep.
Side effects?
The next day, after the second shot, I had some kind of agita, in my chest and my stomach. But again, by dinner time, it was gone. And also I felt very lazy, but that was just good for Netflix. So that's what I did.
Netflix and chill.
Yeah. I'm so happy because I'm working at the arena right now, and it is a struggle with some people with face masks. It's not easy. That's all I'll say.
Are they
So
still
it's a relief to be protected.
What?
Are they still limiting capacity?
Oh yeah, we had a Solar Bear game last night. We might have had 2,500 people in a almost 18,000 seat arena. And we had a Magic game the night before. We had, or maybe 2 nights before, we had maybe 4,000. I don't even think so. And again, they usually sell out. So, I had 100 people in the loge, which are the box seats where they bring you food and all this great stuff. And there was 80 people and the capacity is 330.
Wow.
They block off every other box.
I hate to change the subject again because this is so compelling, but the Miami Heat are using dogs. And this was another thing that Larry Richter was talking to me about yesterday on my podcast. They've got COVID sniffing dogs. And apparently, what did he say? I think he said it was 30 dogs per 1,500 people or something like that.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit, what? COVID sniffing dogs. That's incredible. Like,
we need
get
that.
dogs at every freaking arena and stadium, and let's go for it.
They did that.
They've been using dogs to sniff out citrus tree disease as well.
They're also
Really?
using dogs to catch boa constrictors in the Everglades. They've got trained dogs to find boa constrictors and pythons in the Everglades because they're eating all the native species. But as far as the dogs go, the Heat did that when their first season, their first home game, and I think every game after. And the deal is that if the dog sniffs you and you test positive to the dog's scent, it will sit in front of you, and then they
Yeah,
take
it just
you
sits. Yeah.
someplace else.
Yeah. So if you see a dog, so
Lynn,
here's the information on that. If a dog sits, scatter.
I haven't seen them, but that's a great idea.
It's the same way they train bomb dogs.
Yeah.
Bomb dogs will sit down when they smell a firework.
Yeah. It's
very
They have drug dogs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if you
also-
have cancer, COVID, and you've crotched your weed?
There's a different
Cancer,
one.
though.
The dogs who sniff out weed, they sit down to have a little bit though.
Yeah, they sit down and eat your stash. No, but apparently they're training dogs for cancer too. They can
Yes,
sense
they are,
cancer.
absolutely.
And I didn't know that either. I mean, it's an incredible. That blew me away when I learned that.
That's fascinating.
That's been going on.
And you've always made fun of dogs smelling each other's butts, and now you're like, smell my butt.
No, it was for a reason. They were going to say, "Hey, Frank, you're fucking dying over here. You know, take
They
care of
also-
yourself, man. You
They've
got a bit of a
also
cold,
had-
Frank."
They've also
And then
had-
they're going to train the robot dogs, and then China's going to have another step up.
There you go.
Right.
They've also trained dogs to detect when someone who is diabetic is going into an insulin shock or other diseases, epilepsy, et cetera, these medically trained dogs. And it's amazing how smart they are.
Yeah, my
Okay, so
sister-in-law was
and
at
life-saving.
and the dog wasn't even trained, and the dog would always just let the whole family know. By the way, she's about to have a seizure, even before she knew.
right,
Hey,
yeah.
did anyone see the video of this golden retriever that this was so freaking funny? I forget what country it came from, but this guy had the golden retriever not eat a treat. He took the treat out of a drawer, put it on the table, told the dog no, and left the room. The dog sees as soon as the owner leaves the room, the dog eats the treat, of course. Then he goes over to the
Then he got
drawer
COVID?
where the treats are kept, and he takes out another treat and he puts it on the table and he lays his head next to that treat. The owner comes back, sees the dog and the treat, says, "Good boy," and gives him the treat. Oh, the dog gets two. I've never seen anything so funny.
Nice.
Well, since you brought up
Basically-
the subject of the COVID and all those things, Marsh, and all those other diseases that dogs are sniffing out, you know, the mRNA that they're using now for these for both Moderna and the Pfizer, it's such a new technology that it's probably going to be the technology that's going to be used that will cure cancer and a lot of those other diseases. This is the first time it's ever been used in humans. But it has been tested in laboratory animals to successfully get rid of cancers and other ailments entirely. So mRNA, now that it's in humans, we're using it. There's going to be a big change in pharmaceuticals, not only in what they can cure, but also in the process that curing is going to happen in, and in the speed of from development to market.
That
Where
sounds good.
In the research, didn't this whole thing with the jumping the research with these vaccines push that cancer research you're referring to, Jeff, ahead by about 10 years? Because I know it's been in the works, but it was
Yeah.
still a ways. This just like gave it a push in the backside.
That is exactly what happened. You know, the mRNA has been tested they've been testing it for 15, 20 years, mRNA, but they haven't felt comfortable using it in humans yet.
Yeah, it's the for cancer, it's the PDL1 protein or enzyme that they're trying to target, and basically your body would just eat the cancer tumor. So
Is the Johnson & Johnson different?
Yes.
Yes.
Johnson
Yes,
virus.
Johnson Johnson.
Johnson
That's,
Johnson is more traditional, where they inject the virus back into you.
well, an inert version of it.
Right, an inert version, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Well, actually, they take a non-aggressive virus and they replace a bunch of its DNA with the virus, COVID DNA. And then
Well,
that
the same thing,
virus
it's
is still
like-
not effective.
It's the same thing though. It's the spike protein that it's training your body to prevent.
Correct.
Yes.
Like the
It's
flu
still
shot.
the same vector.
No one's addressed the
Well, the
fact
flu
that
shot has-
$600,000 worth of medical school, you get outsourced to a Shih Tzu.
Robot Shih Tzu.
Robot Shih Tzu. That's going to
Robot
be
Shih Tzu.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many of you are going to go around and buy new dogs that are trained for cannabis smelling, so you can have them sent out and go out and find your own stash for you?
I got two that
Yeah,
just
unfortunately, that dog looked at my
right?
house. He passed out.
Here's one for Nils. Did you see the ambulance drone? The thing on Facebook about the ambulance drone in
No,
Israel?
I missed that. Tell me more.
Look it up. The ambulance drone. There's somebody like they're in a shopping center and the man has a heart attack and he's on the ground and she calls like the 911 equivalent and
I've
they send
actually
an
seen
ambulance drone, no traffic. It flies right in there. It's a defibrillator. They tell her what to do.
I know a lot about that product. I can tell you everything you want to know. I actually did.
And
the
tell
AV
Nils
for-
all about it. I thought it was fascinating.
I did
Inquiring
the
minds
AV
want to
for-
know.
When they was introduced, I did the AV for the doctor who created this and designed this, and it was just before the Olympics in Brazil. It was earlier that year. where they were rolling it out. They actually rolled it out at the Olympics in Brazil. And what they are going through the process to get this to be able to use in the United States. Just to give you a background on it, it was tested here in Miami. It was originally designed by doctors at Miami Children's Hospital in conjunction with doctors around the country. But the first prototype was tested at Miami Children's Hospital, and where they tested it was, and how this doctor got involved. He lived in a condo in Brickell, and his kids went to a party in one of the condos in Brickell. And it was during rush hour, and the kid had an attack, a peanut allergy, whatever it was, and he died. And that's because no matter how with rush hour traffic, how bad it was, they couldn't get the paramedics there. Nobody had an EpiPen. Just everything went wrong. So he said, "Boy, with drones, wouldn't it be great to be able to have a drone that could just fly in there, deliver an EpiPen?" And that started the whole thing. This goes back a number of years. And then he worked with his team and other doctors around who were also coming up with these ideas, and they literally created a drone. They fly it. In Miami Children's Hospital, they have a bank of computers, basically drone operators, and you can call 911. They can send out a drone. They can get a drone in the middle of rush hour traffic to a location that will drop certain emergency medical supplies. A doctor will be on a monitor, a pop-up monitor. And by the way, this drone is not small. It's a pretty big drone. And a pop-up monitor will come up and will instruct any person who could stand there to apply certain basic medical things. So apply a tourniquet, apply, give an EpiPen shot, do a number of things, and it comes equipped with a number of these things. They rolled it out and tested it at the Olympics in Brazil for the first time to see in real time. And actually, they used it on a number of occasions where people fell and got hurt and things, nothing too serious. Now the regulation, what they're doing right now, because I've kept up with this whole thing, what they're doing now is they're trying to get FAA regulation to designate the middle of a highway traffic. So say I-95, where the lights are in the middle of the highway, the dividing or the HOV lanes and things like that. Above the middle of that, they're trying to get the FAA to deem all highways in the country, highways specifically, federal highways, to be drone zones where they can fly the drones, these specific drones. Nobody can fly above a certain height. Those 200 feet and below, right over the middle, is where drones are allowed to fly. So this way, they can punch in a location where there's an accident, and the drone can fly nonstop and go straight from point A to point B and be able to fly over the middle and land, and basically help administer service. Again, people on the ground will be the ones administering things until the paramedics can get there. But it's pretty ingenious, and I was blown away about this because I really thought when I saw this was like 4 years ago, I think, when I saw the drone. They showed us through the whole test on video. They showed the whole thing. I did the AV for this thing, and I just got riveted by following up with this doctor and the technology. But it's been designed, developed, and there is an existing one here in South Florida, one of the first places to test it.
Wow, Israel has them too. It's amazing. It is really, really advanced in medical.
Nils, and you're only doing like fireworks shows. Come on, man.
I've been wasting my time. I could be doing something useful.
Step it up, buddy.
No, but look into this. It's really interesting, Nils. It's fascinating.
I think you should look at little teeny tiny police beacons for the drones too.
Have you seen the drones that Intel owns?
Hang on a sec. Look at this one.
The Intel drones, like the fireworks.
There you go.
Intel has.
Look at this one.
Cat hates
Damn drone.
Oh, God. That's what my cat would do.
That's what we think of drone shows.
So, Ellen, I actually had a question for you, funnily enough, I was going to ask you. So I'm just curious, what's the story with LDI this year? And what are you guys?
It's happening.
It's happening. Okay.
Yes,
and are
100% live in Las Vegas.
Okay. And like, what are your thoughts on the crowd you will attract at that time of year?
Well,
is it back to normal, or like you're going to have 20% less, or kind of like, where's your head at?
We're thinking a third less. We're thinking that like in 2019, if we had 15,000 people, that we're shooting for 10. Because I think there's two things going on. One is some people just do not have any money and they can't afford to travel. Other is that even like a Patrick Dearson who lives in Vegas, if he gets a gig, he's not going to turn it down to stay home for LDI. So
that's every year. Don't let it kid you.
Right, where Matt's not gonna fly in from New York because if he's
No, I
working.
will. I was just gonna say, give me the dates. I want to book a hotel now.
November 15 to 21, the weekend of 19, 20, 21 for the show floor.
As long as you don't
Um,
expect them to go inside and eat anything.
No, it's a big, I hate you. I hate you so much.
I'll bring your hot dogs to the parking
You know what
lot.
I'm gonna do? I'm gonna come in a bubble. I'm gonna come in one of those bubbles and just roll around the floor.
No TMB Bloody Mary stuff.
No, I will.
Matt, I have one in the back of my van. I will drop it at your house this week.
Perfect. Perfect.
I think the industry is going to be pretty busy in the fall because the CFX, which is the new version of WFX, the church show, is in Dallas in September. NAB is going to be in Vegas in October. Infocom is in Orlando in October. LDI is in Vegas in November, and IAPA is in Orlando in November. So
Ellen, you said it's the 19th through the what?
21st, that weekend. Is that a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 19th? What?
That's the weekend before Thanksgiving, basically.
Yes, yeah.
Right as IAPA ends, LDI begins.
Yep. Yeah.
So
a lot
back
of
to our
people like,
scheduled,
I just put up
every
a
other
poll, by the way. I don't know. How do you guys see the poll?
what poll?
I just put up a poll, but how does that work?
Poll.
Oh, there it is.
Ellen.
You got to click on polling.
Is this
Everyone.
totally live or are they doing hybrid? Or are they doing?
No, live. We're going to really try to do a live show.
Click on, I have
No.
no idea what you're
Okay.
talking about. Click on polling.
Polling at the bottom of the screen. Click on polling.
I don't see that in this one.
I don't see
I don't
polling.
have
Really?
polling as an option.
Yeah, usually it like pops up or pops up in the chat, but it's not happening here.
Yeah, not
I
for me
screwed up
either.
then.
You're
Hang on, how do I
drunk.
do this? Launch
again.
poll. There we go. Launch
Oh,
poll.
here it is.
There we go.
There you go. If it happens in November, who is going? Are we
Is there a
supposed to?
box we don't know?
Chris
direct
McMean.
conflict.
Chris, I talked over you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it's all right. Don't worry about it. I was just saying we're back to our regular schedule where 1 year will be November, the next year will be October.
We're going to
November.
try to stay in November always.
Yes.
It's a much
Oh my
better
God.
week for us. The
was
part of the
pretty
problem is that
passionate.
we're not a big enough show to always command the dates that we want. They have what they call citywides, and a show like Pro Golf or the Pool and Spa show or
Yeah.
CES, they're like what's called citywides, and they take every hall and every convention center and about 30,000 hotel rooms. So they get priority of dates, obviously.
Is
But we're
AVN
shooting-
happening this year? Do you know, Ellen?
Yeah.
What is, I don't
That's
even
in
know what that is.
January.
It's the adult video.
AVN is along with
Um,
CES usually.
Yeah. it's-
No,
it's
I
in
don't know.
It's
January.
next door to CES.
I
Oh,
will.
I don't know.
I will say that the reason I haven't gone to LDI the last 4 years has been I've been on tour. It's just
Well,
like one
right,
of those.
see?
It's one of those weird dates. It's like that. End
Right,
of
but what if a tour comes up between now and November? You won't come again.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
he'll
saying.
take it.
Again,
That's
yeah,
what
I
I'm
understand.
saying that anybody that gets a job this year is not going to turn it down. You know, there
But
used
I'm
to
not
be
going to
like,
turn down any gig, Ellen. You know this.
right,
Hey,
that's what I'm saying. But there
Ellen,
used to be
Ellen,
people that would
uh,
say, okay, I'm going to LDI no matter what. And they would like, you know, they would arrange to be there.
I mean, I've
Um,
definitely
sure.
tried to fly out on a day off during
Right.
that and like fly into Vegas for a day to check out LDI,
Right.
but it's never worked out.
Right.
So
yeah.
Now, some
Ellen,
people,
just
were really
FYI, Ellen, FYI, good news is that 95% said yes, they would go. So
Yay! Great.
if that is
The other-
any indication of the industry, then
Right.
I think
We're a
you're in good shape.
microcosm. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I
The
gotta
other thing
check
is
out
that
the
like
Virgin Hotel.
Bill Dignight, who works for us, he's my production manager for the conference side of things and does, anyway, he also teaches at, I don't know, Northern Michigan University, but he's very active with IRTA and USITT and all. And he told us the other day that he found out through a meeting with a lot of IRTA people that there's a lot of colleges and they have sort of use it or lose it money. And as soon as, you know, the shows start happening, they're going to be able to travel because otherwise by the end of the year, the money goes away and they'll be able to use it. So that's good news for us too.
But isn't that the educational year that goes away based on the? the school year.
No, well, I don't know. In Bill's case, it's the calendar year. So, or they have it left over. They may have it left over from the year before. And it was like, they said, okay, use it, whatever. But a lot of people have said, yeah, I got travel money. I can come, which is good. So we're hopeful.
So everybody else on this call is my witness that Ellen said 30% less attendance and a 30% discount for all the exhibitors.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You'd have to get Kelly Turner to say that.
The only thing I would say on behalf of the exhibitors, and I think we've talked about this before, is it's obviously been a brutal, 12, 13 months so far, and it's not getting any better this year. So I would think there's going to be some deals cut. And there's going to be smaller booths, maybe more of them, smaller booths. I hope it's not 70% Chinese companies there. Nothing against Chinese companies, but I hope it's American companies and European companies and stuff. So,
anybody ever hear of a company called Rox Lights, ROXX Lights, Rox Lights? They came in today.
Where are they from?
I don't know. I just saw their name on a list, and they seem to be an architectural company that's moving into the
Spell it again?
the
ROXX.
the entertainment business. Rox Light. So I thought that was interesting. They apparently were involved with the, I don't know, whatever they do. They were architectural, and now it looks like they're moving into the entertainment field. So that's nice.
Ellen, what did you say about Infocom? Is that still going on or no?
Yes, October in Orlando.
Oh, October. Ah.
Yeah, they pushed it.
And NAB is in October in Orlando, in Vegas.
And
much smaller. They're doing a smaller show.
Oh, here we go.
The manufacturers who are here, are you planning to go to Infocom? Like Ben, I don't know if Floater's still here. Are you guys doing Infocom? Do you know? Have you decided?
With I would say with all trade shows, we're going to make a game time decision this year. Because tell me what the rest of the year looks like. Tell me what the rest of the year looks like. I'll tell you if we're going to a trade show.
Yeah.
Are government mandates of no live events going to end next month or in September? And I'm of course I'm not asking, but there's no way to know.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and I think they're German.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're German.
Huh. There you go.
Interesting.
Hey, Alan, which part of the convention centers are going to be in? Is it still in the old part or is it moving to the new?
No, we're in the old part in the North Hall where we were before.
Good luck rigging.
We've always been in there. So.
The North Hall?
Mm-hmm.
No, I thought it was Center Hall, Ellen. You
Center.
Sure?
You're in.
I mean, you know way better
Central
than I do.
Hall.
But I thought.
All right,
Central Hall.
Whatever it is.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
Wherever we were the last time is where we are this time.
Yeah, Central.
Well, the one I know we don't like is the South Hall. That was awful.
Yeah, that's absolute no rigging.
Central Hall. Okay. Whatever you say.
Because they're just opening up that whole new wing next week.
I know. Maybe in 2022 we'll be over there, but
take Elon Musk's little tram cars to the
ground shuttle
between them.
Hell yeah.
Isn't there some kind of an underground walkway or a people mover? Or
that's Elon Musk is building.
Wow.
In between all the halls, and now they're going to expand it to hotels now. Apparently,
Wasn't he building like a super tram to go from like Silicon Valley down to LA? Was that a thing, or was it from LA to Vegas?
Oh, the Hyperloop. The Hyperloop.
Hyperloop.
He's got one in LA right now, a test of it right now. He's actually got like 3 models in different places. I think there's one out near Vegas too.
There's one North Vegas. Yeah.
Right.
They were talking about LA to Vegas for it.
Well, he's also building a tunnel in Miami.
Yeah, 3-mile tunnel. Well,
how do you go underground in Miami? That's a tough one.
Where to where?
The Boring Company. His company's called the Boring Company that does the tunneling. And
that's the one that did the flamethrower thing that Patrick has. Patrick, where's the flamethrower?
I don't have it with me.
I don't know how.
Where in Miami is it?
I don't have it.
He's like depressed. I don't have it with me.
Where in Miami is it?
It's actually the first one that looks like they're close to a deal last week in Fort Lauderdale to take the train, the new the new train that goes commuter train between city to city. They're going to bury that under the New River so that they don't have to have that bridge that's going over the New River that stops a lot of boat traffic. So that's the first one. Last week, the city announced a tentative deal with Elon Musk's company. Here's the thing. His technology is so cool. The Department of Transportation gave the city of Fort Lauderdale, told them it would be about $1 billion to build that tunnel. It's a 3-mile tunnel. Elon Musk came in and said $10 million a mile. Now, that just tells you the difference between working with government or working with private enterprise.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Well, my question is, does South Florida have the geology to withstand all of these tunnels and everything that goes along with it? I mean, there's a reason there are not a lot of tunnels down here.
We have 2 great tunnels that are perfectly fine. Look at the one in New River, right down the street from where this one's going to be built.
Yeah, but the little tiny thing and cars go through it, not high-speed rail. I mean, I'm just saying that
I think he'll be fine. He's the smartest guy in the world. He'll figure it out. The only thing that Elon Musk is doing that scares me is Neuralink. Like this one kind of freaks me out a little bit. Neuralink. That's the where they plant a freaking chip in your head, basically, to make you a little bit smarter.
Yeah, no thanks.
Okay.
Look it up. Look it up.
I'll stick with what I got.
Marcel, I did the AV for the Neurological Network America about April 6th, like 3 years ago. In another meeting, I'll tell you all the shit that was going to blow your mind about what's happening with neural technology that exists today. We saw an active prototype at this event. They had an active prototype. Was working with brain implants. A guy who in Afghanistan lost his memory, and through this brain implant was able to bring back all the memories. But I will tell you in another time because
but it's incredible. I mean, I heard him 2 weeks ago on Joe Rogan, stoned out of his brains, talking about Neuralink, and it's just like, whoa, holy shit. And even Joe Rogan is like, man, that shit scares me. But I don't know.
Well, does your cat have a chip? Our cat has a chip with our entire medical history on it. And,
but it's a
our
cat.
name and telephone number.
Yeah, that's different.
I know, but why do you think they started with your pets?
No, but that's all that chip is in a cat is just like a near field thing where the doctor scans it, the vet scans it, and it tells them everything about that cat. We're talking about something that actually has electrical waves that go back and forth between your brain.
Memories.
Yeah, it communicates
memories
with your brain. Yeah,
well, yes,
exactly.
and it's also supposed to be like human to computer interface. So you can make your robots work with just like thinking to them.
And it sounds amazing.
The problem with this technology was that right now they have issues with the federal government because if it falls into the wrong hands, they literally can reprogram. They can program what you think with this implant, and they can rebuild memories through the use of family interviews, through the use of family videos and photos. They digitize all this stuff, and they're able to convert it to signals that go back in your brain and basically help you recall and build back your memories from that you've lost.
Well, by the way, don't say anything. Don't say anything to Nils. But I heard that he's working on Brain Hog, and he's got.
There's a TV show called Dollhouse.
Don't tell him I told you.
Elijah Dushku and Joss Whedon, and they explored the ethical scenarios with this whole topic, like all of the ethical scenarios. It was very interesting.
I feel like Skynet is slowly coming online. And
not so slowly.
Oh no, it's absolutely coming. And here's the thing: like you can fear it and fight it, or you can accept it and figure out how it's all going to work within your ecosphere. I mean, that's all there is to it.
We've had Terminator around for 20 years, and we're going to still create machines that end up killing us.
Stephen Hawking actually wrote the book. Books. He actually said this is happening, so you better be prepared with your guidelines and rules, because it is happening, and these things will be smarter than us.
But even Elon Musk said it's one area where he thinks the government should have a hand in it and should have some sort of regulation. There should be regulation on how much you can.
Total recall.
You can make writing cues without having to speak to the programmer, man.
Really?
Well, I know a few LDs that already do that. So, Yeah.
Speaking of which, did you all see Four Walls' little light humor program
Yeah.
or video that Jeff Kreuter did?
That was very funny.
Very cute.
Yeah, that was
It's
cool.
it's not wrong either.
But the funniest thing is the console responding. I thought that was really adorable.
Yeah.
Is it on YouTube? I didn't catch it.
Oh, it's cute. Yeah, it's on
Marcia,
YouTube.
it's on my Facebook, Marcia, if you don't want to look for it.
Yeah, it's very cute.
I'll break down and go back to Facebook so I can.
It's on the Four Wall site as well. You can find it on the
Yeah.
Four Wall site.
It's another case of a designer having nothing to do and too much time on his hands, but it's very cute.
As long as it made you laugh and it's good, why not?
Yeah, it's very clever.
Yeah.
Well, they showed it Sunday night as part of the they do that Sunday night roundtable that Jeff Kreuter moderates. So
So
they launched it on Sunday night.
just because we don't have enough divisive topics, I was just curious what everybody thinks about Meghan Markle and which side are you on this? Do we like Meghan or are we on the royal?
I mean, who
side? Which side are
cares?
we
Come
on?
on.
Marcel's like, let me hit all those. really-
No, I'm bored. I'm bored. I just want to do
I
something fun.
think the lady
We're
does
the not
protest too
racist
much.
crowd.
How can you be a millionaire and sit on television and whinge in a
Talking with a
country
billionaire
lot
in
of-
a
Talking with a
$20
billionaire,
million
exactly.
house.
where a lot of people are out of work and starving to death and going to
Yeah.
food banks. She should
Poor
be out
me.
there doing something with
Give me a
herself.
break. It's
Yeah,
like
I have no sympathy for her.
So we know which side you're on, Ellen. Anyone else?
Have you
Anyone wanna
listened to the
debate Ellen?
interview?
it's stupid. I think it's ridiculous.
I think
guy-
I think
The guy who
racism
played
is
her father,
a
the
fucking
guy who played her father in the TV series she was just in, came out today denouncing the whole thing, saying, you know, it's deafening to sit there and have this topic be spoken about right now when people are in the situation they're in this world. It was inappropriate for Oprah, for CBS, for
That's
ITV.
a pretty good point.
Totally.
Well, and they're all
100%.
crying poor. They're all crying poor, but Oprah got paid, what was it, $9 million, and they got
$7
$100 million
million.
Netflix, and they got
Right.
a Netflix deal for $100 million out of it.
Yeah,
Right. And they
exactly.
should give it all to
It's all-
charity. I'm sorry.
Bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, here's a worse topic, guys. So
Uh-oh.
the America,
No.
Help America, whatever it's called, stimulus package passed today. So I know people who make $75,000 a year who have never been unemployed. They've kept their job since day one of this pandemic. Do they deserve a third stimulus check as opposed to people who have been unemployed and are desperately trying to make their rent and their mortgage bills? Where do
You
we
understand
stand
what
on
a
that?
stimulus check is, though, right?
Yes,
A
it's to make
stimulus
the
check is
economy.
something- Yeah, it's something to make the economy go round. Not
Yes, I know, but do the
not-
people who are
that's
making
not the bailout.
$75,000? No, I understand, but
the
do the
bailout
people who,
is for people who are unemployed, they're getting the extra $300 a week,
okay.
right?
So the
So
stimulus check goes to everybody just to get the economy. You spend more in your supermarket, you spend more on a new car, you do something like that.
Yeah.
Yes,
However,
Okay.
what reality will show is that Apple's stock goes through the roof because a lot of people buy iPhone 12s because they got this check for $1,400 that they don't know what to do with, and you know that's
Oh, they know
going
what
to
to do
happen a little bit
Well, I
too.
hope so because it's gone down the last few
Yeah.
days. I'd like to see the Apple stock.
Yeah, it's
I-
cutting into my condo money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, listen, hopefully it goes towards discretionary spending towards concerts and events.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you.
By the way, the spectacle of the Meghan Markle thing might be atrocious and wrong timed and all those kinds of things. But if you actually listen to what she said, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, but then
Yes,
okay.
and the
So today I
systemic
read an
racism-
article. Today I
Don't
read an
don't
article
read.
from.
Stop reading
No,
and
no,
listen to her.
Listen for 1 second. I did.
Yeah.
So today I read an article from the official royal photographer guy who's done the royals for 40 plus years, and he just said it's disgusting. Like he basically said the problem is that he sees is Prince Harry was very happy and now isn't. And so I wonder what kind of influence obviously that woman has on him. And I don't mean any disrespect by saying
No,
that
I
woman,
think
because I
he-
loved her in Suits, by the way. But you know,
No, I think
as a
he
princess,
said he
not so
wanted
much.
out- I think he wanted out anyway because of what happened to his mother. I just don't think he thought it
Do
would
you
bring him
not
to like
think,
grief.
Marcel, do you not think that that the royal family is a little bit racist?
Very.
It depends how you define racism.
British.
I think
simple.
we've really lowered the bar on racism at this point, because I'm not racist, but I think 50% of the people that were questioned would say that I was racist, but I'm not racist at all. Like not even a little bit.
Do you think them asking
ourselves honestly and truly, I think we can agree all of us were raised in an arena where we do exhibit a bit of bias, maybe not outward racism, but
yeah, I agree with you, Marcia.
Yeah,
but do you think do you think being concerned at what the color of the baby is going to be is like a viable conversation you can be having? You're having a kid, be happy. Who cares if it's black or it's white?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's behind that conversation. We don't know that conversation actually happened. We don't know who said it, how they said it, how it came up, any of those things. So I don't know. I mean, I think anyone over the age of 45 or 50 was born in a family where, like, I mean, I grew up in Western Canada in a pretty small city, and even before that, a very tiny town. I knew one black kid growing up, and he was our neighbor who was adopted by a white family. He spoke white, he behaved white, and whether there's a difference, I don't know. But that was all I knew of black or white, and it didn't make any difference to me. Like I grew up not knowing any difference. Different people, hang on a second, Marcia. Different people grew up in different neighborhoods where there might have been a different scenario or different circumstances or whatever, and they might have a different feeling towards it. But, to me, racism is absolutely segregating or separating people and giving opportunities to one person based on their skin color versus another person based on their skin color, things like that.
So what Ron DeSantis is doing with vaccines in Florida.
Matt, hang on. I have a question for Marcel relative to what he was saying with the royal family and stuff, because recently we've all, or a lot of us have been enamored by this Bridgerton, and a bit of history came out that 100 and some years ago, I forget which king it was, married a mixed
George III.
woman. Thank you. A mixed race woman named Charlotte, who was from Germany, who became Queen Charlotte.
Are you sure her name wasn't German and she was from Charlotte?
It's possible. Anything's possible.
I'm just curious. I want to get the facts right here, Marcia.
Well, the fact is that she was mixed race, perhaps not all Negro, but certainly mulatto. And that is not something that has been celebrated by the royal families. I've been in a lot of these places and seen, all of the sites to see, whether it's in Buckingham Palace or in whatever the sites are when you're in the UK, and you see all of the photographs. I never saw one of a black queen, never. Just like there's a lot of black history and people that made incredible contributions to sciences and to the arts in our country that we never heard about either.
They kept that information on the down low when she was around. I'm just saying.
Well, and I want to say something. I want to say something quickly. I watched Golden Child 2 or whatever it's called, Coming to America 2.
Yeah.
And there was a black queen. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, and I knew a black princess named Esther Kamatari from Burundi, and she really is a princess, and she really did come from Africa. That's not the point. The point is that we as a society for millennia have been discriminatory to others that are not like us. And I don't care who you are.
I haven't.
Men have been doing it to women all their lives. White people have been doing it to black. I mean, it on and on and on. Look at the history of humanity, and it includes man's inhumanity to man along with man's humanity to man. That's all I'm saying.
Can I interrupt for 1 second? Can I interrupt for 1 second?
The harbor.
Sure.
Yeah. And religion has been the tool used to do a whole lot of that. Should we talk about religion for a few minutes?
Oh my God.
Goodness.
Please, no.
Here we go.
While I believe you're absolutely right.
I was hoping.
Oppressed fucking asshole, Ben Saltzman. Jesus, Ben is oppressed. You poor man. Jesus Christ. Anyways.
Oh boy.
No, I mean, it's, I don't know.
Look, we're all pretty
I think
damn
most,
lucky.
I think most of you, maybe even all of you, are pretty good people. And I'm a pretty good person at the end of the day, even though some people might not think so. And, I would never, if two employees sat in front of me with equal qualifications, I would never choose based on their skin color, their sex, their religion, any of those things. Even their education. I won't even pick based on their education. I'm going to pick whoever's I think is best for the role. That's it. And I think that's how everyone should be. I wish everyone was.
I wish everyone was too. I agree.
I'll tell you
That's
what. I'll give you a funny but scary story. So when I was dating my ex-wife and I went to Chicago to visit her, I sat with her grandparents for dinner, and they're old Chicago and they're Polish, and they're as white could be. And I'm sitting there eating dinner, and I think it was pierogies. And I'm sitting there eating dinner and enjoying her grandparents, very, very interesting people. And the grandmother starts telling me a story about she was parking her car, and she says, and I apologize for even saying it because I don't use the word, but she goes, and the nigger took my car. And I think I spit food out on my plate. I couldn't believe it. And this is the nicest old lady you've ever met in your life, but this is how she was raised. And so I think that all dropped off when it,
That was the
I think,
queen you were having dinner with?
no, that was my ex-wife's grandmother. And so I think as we go on through time, that drops off, and it's not okay, and it's not okay, and it's not okay, and it's not okay. But I think in general, most of us have the similar feelings that I have, which is I'm going to hire based on, character or skill set or whatever, not based on religion or race.
Once again, you're speaking to an educated, fairly socially liberal, if not politically, that's fine. But so you're sort of speaking to a group of people that are fairly like-minded to you, despite the minutia of the things we discussed. There are many people out there who are not in the same boat, not on the same page.
Yeah, and what is that based on? Is that based on hatred or just based on upbringing and whatever? I don't know.
Sometimes it's based on nothing, and sometimes it's just based on what you were taught and the environment that you were brought up with. Let's face it.
I think so.
If you are brought up in a family filled with bigotry and hate, you know hate before you know how to read and write.
Yeah,
it's just like religion.
Yeah, I went to a party once, and there was a girl who asked me why I didn't have horns. I don't think she meant
horns.
Yeah, she asked why I didn't have horns because
as a Jew, we're supposed to have them. I was asked that too.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, supposedly, and this is based because of a sculpture that I think Michelangelo made, where there were rays of light coming out of Moses's head. This started a whole rumor where if you basically speak to anybody who was raised in certain states, there's a chance that they might ask you where your horns are. Did you have them surgically removed? And I was floored because it was somebody who was my age. It was not like somebody's grandmother, but she didn't mean it maliciously. She just didn't know any better because she was raised poorly.
Yeah. That's
exactly. I've never even heard that.
Oh yeah, it's a weird one.
Bob Harmon.
Yeah.
Because listen, we've gone through
For your
COVID.
horns.
We've gone through masks. We've gone through politics, religion, race.
What happened to the politics toll?
Bob, save us.
Yes.
Save us.
This is where Bob pulls out all the Nazi propaganda stuff he's collected over the years.
Something, Bob. Please save us.
I'm just taking this down a totally different path. Give me the share screen.
Oh yeah.
He's ready. Yeah. Bob's ready to rock and roll.
Bob's ready.
You good? Let's see.
Somebody's got one of those calculator things going with the tape on it. They're counting their money.
I can hear that.
I can hear it. It's probably Dearson.
Leonard Skinner. Woo!
Nice.
So you guys are in full stream?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote this for my dad. This was a thing I wrote called Inadvertent Advice. So my dad is also known as Jack Harmon. We also call him Big D. He passed 94 rather recently, and he's still going strong. He is, and he always was, a great entrepreneur. So today, as I think about him, I ponder that he taught all that he taught me, some intentionally, most through watching his actions. In '76, I was starting college at the university, but I was still living with my parents. I had started Eggshell Lighting Company 2 years earlier and conducted most of my business out of my bedroom. My Eggshell office phone was actually called Radio Call. It's a wireless service. You used like a walkie-talkie to an operator, who in turn would patch you into a two-way landline call. One afternoon, I was trying to reach out to the band Leonard Skinner, looking for their lighting guy about an upcoming show. It was a different time, and though I didn't know many people yet, armed with a booking agent directory, I could usually find somebody's number who would refer me to somebody else who knew somebody. With a lot of persistence, I got through more often than not. Whoever answered, and I still don't even know who I spoke to this day, replied, "Hawaii, huh? Kid, I'm in the band. What are you going to do for us?" I did the best I could, waxing poetic about the qualities of certain lights, reciting the titles and attributes of each of the Roscaline gels. So when my father calls out for me, I wouldn't respond because, of course, geez, I'm on the phone with Leonard Skinner at the time. He comes to my door and he repeats for me to come. As I cup the mouthpiece, I ask Big D, can I get back to you in a minute? Defiantly throws the door open, enters my room, and rudely doesn't even seem to care that I'm busy. His eyes do a slow assessment, heaps of clothes, empty food containers, my paperwork, plots, chicken scratches, Rolodex cards, gel books, gem plates, a half-year calendar I'd secretly mounted behind the sliding closet door, and my makeshift bed desk. His eyes dart back to me before slamming the door, and he says, "I don't know what you're going to do with your life, but you better be able to hire a goddamn maid." I recall writing down in a collegiate book where I put such important entries, "Must be able to hire a maid." You see, he had taught me the need to delegate. A different occasion, my father and I, we were getting rid of some old trash and broken electronics at the local dump, a quarry, if you will. I remember calling out, "Big D, someone's lost their checkbook." Sure enough, there were heaps of checks with cancellations from local banks. They had people's signatures, ID numbers, even credit card numbers on them, and they were just blown in the wind. Within a few months, my father was going up to the local banks with a specialized truck that he had built, talking with the authority and suggesting that they allow him to grind them up in front of them and worry no more. And what do you do with ground up checks? Well, have you ever wondered what was soaking up the oil in a cardboard oil box? Yep. Perhaps you even made it into a local egg carton. Maybe. See, Big D taught me opportunity is everywhere. So on a Wednesday, I returned from school. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon. To my surprise, my dad's at home. He's drinking beer. I'm a little stunned because, Saturday, a weekend, sure, but in the middle of the week, must be a hard day at work. I chose not to mention him. The next day, Thursday, he's home early, again, drinking beer in the afternoon. A buddy of his is trying to talk some sense into him. "Jack, you've had a good run here, but you live on a hill and the erosion under your master bedroom has caused it to start separating from the house. It's already inches off level. You know I'm a contractor. If you just take out a second mortgage, say 50 grand, I'll fix it for you. And that's a deal." But for reference, 50 grand in the 70s is about $250,000 today. My dad didn't answer him. Man left shaking his head. Another hour passed before Dad impulsively ran downstairs. And he grabbed, well, this is me at that early age. This is my dad. So he grabs the car jack out of the Pinto.
That's Claudette's car.
Yeah. And he runs back up.
It is, too.
He actually jacked up to the master bedroom. Now I'm really worried about him. My mom's angry and pronounced she's sleeping in the living room that night. Friday, come home early. I come home early and I'm already concerned. His buddy is there imploring my dad, "Look, Jack, what are you thinking? You're going to have a Wizard of Oz incident right here, and I'm not going to be pulling you out. Just let me do this for you. Heck, I'll lower my price." And about that time, an amazing scene unfolded. A cement truck pulled up and pumped cement into the framing my dad had constructed around the master bedroom. The cement rose to support the raised room. To this day, that feeble jack remains frozen in time by a block of cement. Pop had taught me, when everyone says the answer is black or white, there's a lot of gray to be considered first. As for those who wonder why I don't teach more text, my counter is the lessons have already begun. The only question is, are you listening? That's it.
Good one.
Damn, dude. That's good.
I think I just listened to, what's his name? Paul Henry? Paul Harvey? Paul, the guy who wrote this really, yeah.
Yeah, Paul Harvey.
Paul Harvey.
Stand by for news.
And now, the rest of the story.
Well done.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Were you just, Rob, were you reading that, or were you just, because
I've been writing. That's what I did during all this. I must have I have about 60 of them.
oh wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we got time, buddy.
Yeah.
Sadly, we've got time. We've got time. I don't know. I hope we don't have 60 more weeks, but I don't know. People have said we should keep doing this even after we're working, but
You should try.
who knows?
Are we gonna
Yeah.
do a special one where we're gonna like get all dressed up and wear party hats on the 52nd one, the year anniversary?
Oh my.
Let's all tell Marcia that we're gonna do that, and then we won't, and she'll show up in a costume. And
It'll be a virtual red carpet, Mark.
Or topless. you
Nobody
never
tell
know.
Marcia.
Or
though.
topless. Oh my God.
Nobody tell Marcia. Yeah.
Where 95% of us can get together at LDI.
Oh, that would be awesome.
95% of us. That's a good
That's
number.
right.
Nook, what's happening, man? You've been quiet.
Just listening to everybody.
Yeah.
Everything.
How's things at PLSN? I know.
Pretty much boring. I'm trying to find stuff to do, but we're
Yeah.
just limping by, waiting for September like everybody else, I think.
Yeah, the issues are about 25% of the size, as usual, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. We lost 75% of your advertising. The
Yeah.
problem was the people that had full year contracts, all those contracts went away in January, and people didn't want to renew for another year, and it's all understandable.
Yeah.
So I'm liking it. I mean, I do fine and just writing and
You're not gigging at all anymore, are you, Nook?
no, I do some stuff for the film companies around town. My
Yeah.
wife is now the vice president of Media Loft, a big production house in town. So now she's taken on a huge responsibility and gig and stuff. So I'm more Mr. Dad.
Yeah.
I take
That's
the
all
kids
good.
to school and do that. It's a new life.
I actually meant to mention something earlier and I forgot, but I did this, and I know there's mixed views on this one too. So there's going to be half that go, oh yeah, that's cool, and half that go, you're an idiot. But I did this Tony Robbins thing last weekend, the UPW Unleash the Power Within. It was a 4-day virtual thing. And, unlike the other 29,999 people who were on there, I was kind of geeking out on the technology. So Tony Robbins talked about the fact that it was on Zoom. It was 30,000 entries or paid entries on Zoom, but there were like 60,000 people because people had other people in the room and stuff. And he said, yeah, we had a problem because he's got this kick-ass studio with these LED screens on both sides of the room. And he just goes like this, and there's another 3,000 people up. And he's got all kinds of really cool stuff. They did such an amazing job, but he said we had a limitation because Zoom could only do 1,000 people. So I called up the CEO and we figured it out, and now we got 30,000 people. And I'm thinking, if only everyone had that kind of access, right? Call up the CEO of Zoom and go, I need a few more people. How many more? 30,000. And but really, really, really well done. I mean, they had a couple of little glitches, like I think the second morning, Friday morning, it was supposed to start at 9 and it started at like 10:30 because they just had a complete bomb. You couldn't get into Zoom at all. And they got that fixed. And then there was a couple other little glitches where, you couldn't hear people or something. But aside from that, I mean, and the other challenge was, think 30,000 people. Like, look at how the trouble we have sometimes with 30 people. And with 30,000 people, they had to figure out how to teach people not only to log in and to work their microphone and to do all these, but they would break you out into, like, first of all, it was, I don't know how many rooms with 350 people in each room. So what is that, 100 rooms? And, or 1,000 rooms? No, 100 rooms. And then they had these little breakouts where they'd suddenly send you into this thing with 4 people in it. And you're like supposed to spill your guts to these 4 people and tell them, well, here's what I thought about that last segment. And I mean, in all, it was just such a freaking cool experience. They did it so well. And I know that most people who have been on this thing for 40, however many weeks, know that I'm kind of against virtual events. But I think for things, and I'm sorry to trade show people, Ellen or whoever else is left, but I think for Tony Robbins, virtual is the way to go. Like, he was traveling 300 days a year. I wouldn't. Like, I'd do 5 or 6 live events, and the rest I would do virtual because it was so good. It was a good experience. So anyways, just wanted to share that.
Did you karate chop the wood?
I did, actually. And my 5 foot tall, 100-pound girlfriend also karate chopped the wood.
I
and
saw
broke
the
it.
video. Yeah, she did.
Yeah, it's not actually a karate chop. They make you use your like this part
yeah,
of your
palm.
hand, right? But
I had another.
I was surprised how easy it was. I kind of wanted to karate chop like 8 pieces of wood at that point. I was feeling pretty like, you know, I can do this.
I had another LD friend that did that, and she was posting
really?
all about it. She was like, "This is the best thing ever, empowerment." And,
Well, here's what the one sad thing was, because you know, I think everyone knows I'm a believer in, you know, we got to work through this, not wish through this, right? Like, all of this stuff, you don't just sit back and pray that things are going to get better. You got to make things better in your life, in your business, whatever. And there was a lot of people, because they did an amazing selling job, because you're in Unleash the Power Within, but they're selling you on mastery classes that are like $7,000, $10,000, you know, just incredible amounts of money. And people were saying, well, if I put part of it on a low interest credit card and the other part I get a bank loan for, you know, can I pay it over time? And I was thinking at a point, like, and I know a lot of people, I think, Matt, you were one of them, think that he's just a complete sleazeball. You know, he's a very wealthy entrepreneur who, you know, could be vindicated, or no, what do you call it? What's the word? Vilified.
I just think when you're charging people in the middle of a pandemic $7,000 or $10,000 to go to one of these courses, I just think it's a little,
you know. So I agree with you. Because I think a lot of people, because this was only like $400, $500, something like that. I got it gifted to me, but it was like $500 or something. And the fact that they were then kind of attacking people who were really weak, and they were in here to try and find answers. I lost my job. My husband left me. My house burned down. They've got these terrible stories, and they're attacking you and going, well, have you got any bottles that you could go trade in and get some money for those? You know, I mean, they're sucking every dime out of you for a $10,000 course. You've got, from this 4-day thing that I did, you've got enough tools to rebuild your life. It was powerful. I mean, there was some really good stuff in there, and I've heard it all before. So for me, it was maybe less valuable than for other people, but I still got a lot of sort of upgrades on my information. But for some of these people, like, they're buying these $10,000 courses. You've got the tools now. You don't need additional tools. Take these tools that you got this weekend and go do something. But you know, it's just like some people, I guess, who become students for life. Like, I've known kids who went to college and then they kept going to college and they kept going to college because dad was paying for it. And as long as I'm in college, I don't have to really kind of work. You know, I don't have to get a real gig, right? And I think that's how some of these people felt. Like, as long as I'm learning stuff, I don't have to deal with my real problems. So, so that part was shitty. But in general, the technology was incredible. And the experience was pretty cool. And I just thought, for 30,000 people on Zoom, like, again, you know, we've had, I think the highest we've ever had is like 85 people on this or something. And sometimes it gets a little mayhem where everyone's talking over each other. And on this thing, it was just so organized and so together. So it was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yep. So I think for
What was
them,
the title of what you did? What was it called?
UPW, Unleash the Power Within, UPW. Yeah.
Right.
And then the next one's like, there's a bunch of them. There's Business Mastery, and there's this mastery and that mastery, and they're all like $10,000 courses. So although I have heard from a lot of business people that Business Mastery is incredible, but not as a virtual event, as a in-person event, because you meet people who have 5,000 employees and they're mega successful and stuff. I've heard Business Mastery is just an incredible experience.
Well, aren't there like groups that do that where you don't have to pay them $10,000? Like somebody's like a facilitator and like they get 10 people from like your area and you meet like a breakfast once a month or something.
Yeah.
I found that to be very useful. I used to do that with a group in Philadelphia. It was good.
Yeah. I know Scott from ILC was on here. He's not here anymore, but I know Scott's part of a CFO group or a CEO group. Stephen from Pyrotechnico always tells me about his CEO group. I think, Ben, aren't you part of a CEO group? If Ben's still listening.
Yeah, no, I do it through something called Vistage, and I find it incredibly helpful.
Yeah. So there's that stuff. But I mean, again, Tony Robbins, like some people think he's a snake oil salesman. The guy has incredible knowledge and incredible information to share. He's sort of the top of the food chain, so he charges premium prices and he gets away with it, I guess. And that's what billionaires do. But I saw value in it. I thought it was pretty cool. So, but the technology was cool.
People have problems and they feel alone with them. But if you're in a situation where other people share and they have the same problem, you're like, oh man, let's get together and figure out how to solve this. Or you don't feel like it's you. It's you feel it's like.
Well, isn't that what we started doing every week until it turned into a fuck you, I'm a Democrat. Fuck you, I'm a Republican. Fuck you, I'm a Catholic. I'm a Jew. I'm a whatever.
We have lively discussions.
We get lively occasionally.
Certainly.
But
it's
all backed by love. It's all backed by love.
Yes.
We're passionate people, and the fact that we can commune through this technology, I don't know about you guys, but it certainly saved my mentality and my emotional levels for the past,
we're also passionate people who've been, sidelined for a long time in many cases. Right. So, I get also that people get frustrated, and right. I talk to so many people every day who are in that position that they're just like, oh shit, what do I do? But
Marcel, do you think that the companies that have survived this far are going to survive? Because for a while you were talking about like a lot of people that were going out of business. What's next? What's going to happen?
A lot more companies are going to go out of business. And there's a reason behind that. So what's happening, and I'm talking to these companies often every single day, what's happening is banks that were patient are now becoming very, very nasty. And in some cases, they're not nasty because you didn't pay your loan payments. Like I've talked to so many companies who have paid every single loan payment, both principal and interest, and yet the bank nails them on some goofy covenant. And I won't explain what these goofy covenants are, but sometimes it's just some weird little thing, and they go, ah ha ha, we got you. We want you to go sell off all your assets, and we're gonna, put you out of business, basically. And so there's newfound pressure on a lot of people. I spoke with someone today who has 4 equipment leases that were deferred for a long time, and they're pretty big equipment leases. And they were deferred for, 8-9 months. Like first it was for 3 months, then it was for another 3, and then it was for another 3. And now they're going, we want our money. And so there's a lot of that stuff going on between leases and banks. It's just getting really ugly. And so, yeah, unfortunately, and it's not even just little companies. Like I know some, $20, $25 million companies that that are in real trouble right now, sadly.
Marcel, correct me if I'm wrong here, but from what I understand, it's like like somebody sells the loan, but then that bank that issued the loan then sells percentages to other banks.
Yes, that's a very good point. So there's
one of those lenders want their money out of
it's so funny you say that. It's so funny you say that, because I spoke to somebody today who has exactly that situation. So they've got about $8 million in debt, and the main bank is patient. And then there's 5 banks behind the main bank. And one of those banks, who's only on the hook for a very small part of it, is causing a huge amount of trouble. And
I've heard that's been the case with a lot of these companies.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
not the main bank, not the main lender. It's one of the subsidiaries.
You know, unfortunately, banks are businesses that hand out umbrellas on sunny days and then punch you in the face and take it back when it's raining, you know, and that's just how it goes. You know, it's a nasty, nasty business right now. So sadly, yes, I think more businesses are going to fall, and you know, we're going to have employee problems going forward. We're working on a new initiative right now in We Make Events that I know some people in here are still here right now, are part of We Make Events, and we haven't really discussed it much yet, but we're working on an initiative to try and employ more people. And it's got nothing to do with COVID. That's a totally different thing. I'm talking about employing people within our industry. And yeah, I mean, it's sad because I love all these people. And when I hear these stories, like I've got my own problems. I'm a business owner in this industry. But when I hear some of these stories, it's just like, ugh, you know, because I want to help everybody and I can't. If I was maybe a trillionaire, I could help absolutely everyone and bail everybody out, but I can't. So
Did you see that,
yeah, it sucks.
See that Disguise was sold this week?
Yep.
I didn't. I hadn't heard that one.
Who bought it?
Yeah,
To who? A private equity group?
to their, yep.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean, I think Disguise is gonna, it's kind of like Samsung. Is that what I heard, Ellen? It's kind of like they're still gonna operate, they're still gonna manufacture.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they
It's a-
say now, but you know, you never know what happens in those situations. And Ash says he's staying on as a sort of a creative consultant for a while, but who knows, you know?
I mean,
Brilliant move in my opinion, because you know, Disguise has absolutely crushed it through the pandemic by no fault of their own. I mean, they just happen to have exactly the product that the industry, just like Roe. I mean, I love Frank Montoro and I love the people at Roe. They're nice people, but they got really lucky. They had exactly the product the industry needed at exactly the time that the industry needed it, and they did very well with it. So, so I think Disguise was in a very good position to sell sort of at their peak, and good on them.
I mean,
Good on them.
look at Solotech grabbing Morris. That's a lot of gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Solotech grabbing Morris.
But didn't they sell a lot of the old gear and keep all the new stuff? So it's basically, I mean, so what is that? Is that going to be a Solotech office now, or is it going to be Morris?
No, no, they're keeping the Morris name on it for now.
Okay.
Whether
so it's
that
kind of like
changes
what
down the road.
It's kind of what LMG does, where they'll buy a company but keep them as that entity under the umbrella.
Everyone starts out that way, Matt, and then they change because PRG did that in the beginning. They kept all the names on those companies and then they changed.
So did Four-Wall, Jeff, right?
Four-Wall did that. Yeah,
Sure.
Four-Wall did that initially. They kept names on companies and then they changed. So
And by the way,
Solotech name rebrand.
By the way, Carlisle Group is NEP, by the way. The one that bought Disguise.
They're what?
They are the NEP group, which owns CT, is the company that bought
and
Disguise.
Screenworks. And,
Oh. So can you get us family discounts, Chris, then?
Man, I don't know.
Just kidding.
I don't remember the details, but I just read that architectural lighting designer David Rockwell is teaming up with Tate Towers to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a project. I don't think it's a merger.
It's like a model for a flexible theater.
Yeah, it's a project. It's a project.
I will
It's
tell
not-
you.
You're
I will
right.
tell you, Tate is looking at a lot of things right now because they got that Main Street loan for like $70 million. They've got a bunch of cash, and they're looking at a lot of things right now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see anything that Tate does in the next month or two.
And I thought it was pretty interesting they were teaming up with David Rockwell.
Yeah.
Well, he did the Shed, in New York, that real theater over at Hudson Yards.
I still need to go over and check that out. That place looks amazing.
It's a hellhole.
It's kind of mind blowing.
Why is it a hellhole, David?
Because it's this giant empty space. And it has no it's conceived for nothing. It's supposed to be something that, great artists can fill with imaginative shows, but they've never done it. The ventilation is horrible. The sight
No,
lines
the
are
first show they
horrible.
put in there had this incredible rigging thing where half of the stuff was done in the air, half of the acting was done on platforms that floated.
What was that? Was
That's
that
King of
Kung
the
Fu
Dragon.
musical
That's all I
thing?
know.
Hey,
They've had
this will
nothing but
shock
bombs there the whole time.
this will shock you guys, but I read a New York Times article today.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Holy
That-
shit.
That
Head for the bomb shelters.
News, the fake
No.
news.
Okay,
The
so now if you
failing
could all,
New York Times.
if you guys could all shut up for a second, I'll tell you what it said. So it was a really sad article, basically, about not only Broadway actors but SAG actors, all kinds of actors, musicians, etc., are now losing their insurance because they've gone below a certain number of days or whatever that you have to work to keep your insurance.
It's been
all based
that-
on weeks.
But that's
Yeah.
also been an issue since, like, I was dealing with actors because I actually bought health insurance through the New York State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've been on unemployment, I was able to actually qualify for the premium tax credits. So
Yeah.
I actually have a better plan, and I'm paying $600 less right now.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of Broadway actors who I'm friends with on that, but they've been losing it since October.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
difficult to keep
this
that
was just a
as they
bummer
do
article, though.
Scenic artist stuff. I mean, it's not easy to keep. If you do some equity stuff and then you try and do some non-equity stuff, you basically can't keep your health insurance. It limits your ability to get work, which is the same issue with the United Scenic Artists Healthcare. I'll never go on it because, then it limits my ability to take non-USA work.
Right.
I mean, USA refuses to answer my emails, so I guess I'm not
How
going to
helpful
join.
are they?
Yeah. I don't know where the
it's
article
fine,
is.
I
I was
don't-
trying to find the link, but
Have any of you applied with Freelancers Union?
I'm on there.
I used to.
Yeah, I used to use that when I was in New York, and it was really fantastic with the
They're
plans
great.
they had. I don't know what it's deteriorated into.
They
actually,
they
it's
stopped
good.
offering as much when the exchange popped open, but I guess they're still offering.
They're offering, it's not great, but it's something. So you're not going in and spending more to, you break your arm or you get sick. You're actually kind of covered. You have a deductible, obviously, but whatever, it's fine. I mean, the freelancer union is great when it comes to just getting information out. They do a lot of like webinars now on financials and like knowing your worth, like when you're bidding on projects, like
Nice.
what is a good day rate. They're doing a lot of good freelance type stuff. So
The health insurance in particular was one of the things that I had gotten into with them at the time. And then any of you that have had any experience with getting a like an Emmy nomination or anything through the Academy of Arts and Sciences, one of the big perks to be maintaining your dues with that each year is that their health plans tend to be very good. And once again, I don't know how it's deteriorated over the years because I dropped it a while back, but they were even better than Freelance Union for a while there.
does anyone have like a good contact with now this is just a good question for you guys. Like I'd like to be doing like some programming and stuff for TV and film. Is it even worth it right now to try to like get my name in there and try to get in with I think it's 52 to even try that? Or should I just wait?
You were told, I believe 18 weeks ago, to call the 52 office.
I was told, and then Herrick called me and said, you'll never get through and don't even bother. So
you didn't.
Oh, there you go.
So you never called, huh?
I would think that just to give it a shot, number one, because if you're asking the question again, this is the only chance you're going to get is to call them and get in.
I'm just trying to I'm tired of doing virtual, designing rigs for now. I just want to.
Well, aren't we all?
Fucking show, man.
You know what, Matt?
wanna
Go to the 4-wall Sunday night roundtables that are on, they're probably still on their website, on their Facebook page. And last week was about programmers, and they all took, one of the women, some of them have pivoted and started doing a lot of television. So maybe call her.
I mean, I'll do like the occasional, I'll get like a studio that's doing, getting contracted to do something, and they'll hire me for a day or something to like design and program, which is fine. It's just I haven't done that since November, and I'm getting a little like.
No, I think there's a lot of TV work in New York, and you should touch base with her and see how she got what she's doing. And
yeah, I'm just
We're let her excuses and get to you.
It's just that January, February dip that we always go through. I'm just like, it's just painfully longer because of this year, and you all know that. So it's just whatever.
Well, you've got
kind of
start calling.
Yeah, I call anybody and everybody you know. Call any lighting designer in New York that's doing TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and again, I mean, my thing is just, we can't wish this away. It's not just going to go away. So we have to do things. We have to, I don't know.
I had a really great opportunity. I didn't tell anybody because I didn't know. And I'm not the type of person to like saying I might have a gig, but I applied on LinkedIn. Peloton was looking for a global lighting designer, and I went through 5 Zoom interviews, and I got to the final 3. And I got probably the best rejection email I've ever received in my life. They're like, "We love you. Like, we just decided to go in a different direction. But if there are any gigs on our website that you'd be interested in, reapply. We'd love to have you." It was like awesome, but it was like, I'm not getting the gig. And,
did you screw it up by getting in like a mask fight or something on one of the interviews?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
I just called you Eric. No, Marcel.
Eric. Oh my God. No,
Force of
Eric.
habit.
No, Eric.
It's just, it is what it is. I miss you
Matt,
all.
when a
that's
guy
a
you
killer
argue with so
opportunity.
much tells you not to call a number for work, I'd be a little fucking suspect of that. You should call it. Trust me.
Yeah.
I know that
true.
was 728 in LA, which is TV and film. If you hit them at the right time and you're an experienced programmer. I mean, Mark Jacobson Jr., who does Tool, has been doing a lot of TV programming.
No, I love
Benoit.
you.
Benoit is doing all
yeah,
kinds
sure.
of stuff. Yeah, Benoit's busy as hell. I mean, he doesn't come to our calls anymore.
I mean, Scott Barnes pretty much kills it.
But Scott just does film.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all
Junior still does Tool and a bunch of other stuff. But when he's home, he's been doing a lot of TV programming.
Yeah. It's really funny. It's just funny seeing all these people like, Kelly Spicer Keys, who's killing it. Like, they're working all over the place,
Sure.
like these programmers.
Craig Caserta.
Yeah.
Always working.
Yeah, Craig's doing lots of stuff too. Yeah,
he and Josh Hutchings formed a company together and do a lot of game shows.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
and it's
that's
actually
about a bunch of gear.
Yeah, it's when Josh can't do it, Craig comes in and just because they share a mind.
Yep.
So anyway, it's good to see you all. I'm going to see the new Avo
Likewise
on Monday. So
I saw it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
By the way,
here in
Steve texted me right before we got on this, and he apologized, but he had a bunch of people in his house illegally, and and said that he wouldn't be making the call. So
yeah, I went and looked at the new console. I was there with Rob Koenig for several hours. It's an amazing console.
Is it?
Yeah, Steve had me come check it out virtually with I think Ruben a while ago. So they're coming over to C Factor, and Brad White's going to be there. So I'm going to check it out.
Have any of you seen the new Martin fixtures yet?
No.
Preview.
They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
Pretty impressive.
They're pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I'm doing the webcast, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, they're very cool. I mean, I definitely have a little bit of Martin in me, but they're cool. I mean, I think they're they're replacing their own stuff. Like they're killing the Viper for sure. But
didn't what's his face, director of design development, didn't he?
Yeah, he left.
He left. He wasn't fired.
I don't know the details on that, but
yeah,
I know he's
gone.
not there anymore. Yeah.
Because I saw what was his name? What's his name? It's
I
not
forget.
Lars.
Matthias Hendricks?
No, Matthias is over at Elation.
Matthias has been in Elation for a while now.
Yeah. It's not Lars.
It's
Anyway,
all right.
yeah, he posted like the LinkedIn tomorrow. He was like, "Hey, they're hiring for my job."
Yeah, he went over to Airy.
Oh, is he at Airy now?
Yeah, he's at Airy now.
Name?
Smart move.
What's his name?
I forget his name.
You can barely.
It's something European. You know those crazy European names.
It's very like he's the one that every product on their YouTube page, like every new product launch, he's the one who's like doing the video.
Yep. I gotta go, folks.
All right.
All right.
Good to see you all.
See everybody next week for Patty's Day.
Marsha.
Oh,
Bye,
shit.
Ellen.
I'm gonna be hammered.
Oh boy.
Bye,
Good time.
Bye.